really mean? It means a modern approach to the traditional cooking. Now, the approach could be in the way you cook the food, it could be in the ingredients that you choose to cook the food, it could also be the way you serve the food. Whatever you do, the food should be tasty because traditional food is always tasty and it should be pleasing to the eyes. So that's what is all about contemporary cooking. Let's start with Chettinad Aloo Masala. To start with, we'll be using 3 tablespoons of oil. Now, I'm using til ka tel. Til ka tel is sesame oil, which is a very good oil but not very commercially marketed. Like we hear of olive oil, canola oil, mustard oil, but why not til ka tel? Til ka tel is sesame oil and it is a very healthy oil, lots of antioxidants. It has vitamin E, then it has omega-3, omega-6 fatty acids which are good for your heart. So do keep til ka tel or sesame oil in your kitchen. We start with sarson or mustard seeds. Unless the oil is hot, don't add the mustard seeds because if the mustard seeds don't crackle, they are going to impart a bitter taste. So I'm just waiting and I can see the oil now, it's nice and hot. My seeds are crackling. Then I'm adding some coriander seeds which I have split into 2 by, with a rolling pin like this, and a little cumin seeds. Now I'll reduce the heat a little. Some red chillies go in, onions, 3 onions chopped finely. Don't let your spices burn, so if you feel the heat is too hot, you can reduce it. Now I'll increase the heat again because I have put in the onions. Now the onions are almost done, they are light golden, and I'll add the chopped ginger and the chopped garlic. Garlic, you can be generous, but don't be generous with the ginger. I like them nice and green. If you put them in the beginning, they turn a little black. That's why I like putting them here at this time, but before the tomatoes, as I told you. Dhania powder is 2 teaspoons, red chilli is half to 1 teaspoon, and salt to taste. So all the masalas go. Whenever you add your masalas, always have a little water handy because we don't want to burn our masalas. And now I'm going to put the chopped tomatoes. I want my tomatoes to get nice and soft. So I'm going to cover this now. And everything to blend well. So let our tomatoes cook and I'll tell you about the other masalas. Now if you can see in this, I've taken a fresh coconut, peeled off the brown skin. This brown skin I peeled. I chopped it into pieces. I'm going to grind this coconut with a very few Sabot kali mirchi or peppercorns and a little saunf or fennel seeds. This will of course take a little water to grind. But you have to grind it into a smooth paste. पानी जितना ले ले कोई बात नहीं, पर अगर ज़्यादा पानी डाल के पीसोगे तो वो बारीक पिसेगा नहीं. So start by adding less water and add water as you need. I think I'll put in this coconut also. So with a little water, we grind this. I'll just send it for grinding. Now I'm going to add the aloo. Yeah. These are boiled potatoes. And one thing that I like to add along with the aloos is Nita Mehta Sambhar powder. This Sambhar masala gives a nice taste to this Chettinad dish. So I am going to add this Nita Mehta Sambhar masala. And saute the potatoes well. And now I'm going to add this. Aloos are done. The tamarind goes in. I'm waiting for the coconut paste to come. I can hear her grinding it. So you could either add the coconut paste or the tamarind, whatever is ready. Just keep scraping it nicely. The coconut paste is there, and this looks like a coconut chutney. This is what I'm going to add. You don't need to cook this coconut paste for too long. Just 2 minutes of cooking is good enough. And now I'll check the salt, and if I need the sugar, I'll add a pinch of sugar. A pinch of sugar and some salt too. Now the little salt. Now to finish this, what we need to do is add a little Garam Masala. I'm using a Nita Mehta Garam Masala and a little desi ghee. This is Nita Mehta Garam Masala that I'm cooking. Reduce the flame and just cover it for the flavors to blend. I reduced the flame so that nothing burns. Now, by the time the oil gets hot, I'll transfer these aloos to the Haldi. थोड़ा सा फैला देते हैं, but more or less more in the center. We have a red chillies. Now this is also done. Now what is the contemporary style that I'm going to teach you? Take a Malabar Parantha or any Parantha. I'm not teaching you a Malabar Parantha in this class. I'm using a ready-made one. So if you like, you can make one, any Parantha, and cut it into wedges. You know, these days people like to have Parantha but small bites. So it's a good idea to serve it like this, small bites. Done with this. Now, how do you garnish it? I'm still waiting for the oil to get hot. Let me just see. Now, when you fry your curry leaves, what is important? I don't want this big leaf, and they should be absolutely dry, otherwise they're going to splatter on your face. So, एक तो दूर खड़े रहो. दूसरा, पहले से at least wash it at least an hour before, pat dry them, and before you cook, just cook one. See how it's splattering? I'm going to switch off the fire now. Once the oil is hot, you can switch off the fire and just run away from the fire. Because if you leave the fire on, they are going to become dark in color. We don't want them to be dark in color. We don't want them to turn brown. And then I remove my curry leaves once they are done. फ्लेम पे अपने आप हो जाएंगी ये. They're nice and glassy. They'll turn glassy. I'm not in a rush because I've switched off the flame. That is important. Switching off the flame is very important in this. See how nice they are. Beautiful. They are glassy, green, and not brown. And you can fry this and put this, in a Ziploc bag and keep them. You use them on anything you like. Now here, let's put them here on the. When you garnish, everything should show. If you put it on all the potatoes are not going to show. So I want my potatoes also to show. So I'm putting the garnish on the side. And here I have some coconut. Grated coconut. So Chettinad, the close-up shot now. The Chettinad with paratha, served in a very contemporary way, is ready to go. So you can just pick up a paratha like this and take a little aloo also. Serve it like this. Here, I'll tell you about everything as we go along. I think my pan is hot and I'll start and I'll keep telling you side by side. Okay. Heat the pan to start with the Masaman biryani. Okay, now Masaman curry is a Thai curry which is very flavorful, and this is a fusion of Indian and Thai. Thai वैसे भी Indian flavors use करता है. Okay. So I'm going to heat, just roast the whole coriander seeds, 2 teaspoons, a teaspoon of cumin seeds, 7 to 8 long or cloves, and 5 to 6 green cardamoms whole. उतनी देर भूनो कि आपको स्मेल आ जाए. Just roast till they turn fragrant. See the color turning and the flavor coming. Now let me remove this. This is done. We have to roast another thing, that is onions and the garlic, but that is to be done in oil. So about a tablespoon of oil, masala dry roast. The pan is hot. One large onion and 8 to 10 flakes of garlic bone. थोड़ा सा इसको fragrant हो जाएगा. Okay, the onions are also done. Now see, this was the whole spices. The 4 whole spices that we roasted have been ground. Now the other things that go in is, first of all, let's put these onions. इसको ठंडा करना चाहिए थोड़ा सा. I'll take this plate. इस प्लेट में निकाल देती हूँ. थोड़ा सा ठंडा हो जाएगा. See how the onions look? Light golden. और धीमी आंच पे करोगे तो they'll be better. Don't do it on high flame and brown them. They should get roasted properly. So by the time this cools, I'll put the other ingredients. So we have galangal and lemongrass. We have our chilies which we've soaked. I don't want to put the water. पीसने के लिए थोड़ा सा पानी चाहिए होगा तो ले लेंगे. A little bit of cinnamon powder or dalchini powder. I have used Nita Mehta dalchini powder for it. Some coriander stalks, because we don't want to add the leaves. एक तो stalks में flavor ज़्यादा होता है, and secondly the leaves will add green color. We don't want green color, so I'm going to add the coriander stalks. Maybe we'll need a bigger mixer for it. Let's see. But if I had done these spices in the bigger mixer, piste nahi. Some more lemongrass I have already here. I'll put that. And a little nutmeg. This is jaifal or nutmeg. and just grate a little. Let me grate it somewhere so that I know how much I'm putting. Too much also makes it bitter. About 1/4 of teaspoon. Now इस सबको आपने so a little nutmeg is also gone in, and in this only the onions will also go in. Now this can't take up. I think we need the bigger mixer, and everything will be ground together. So we are done with the curry paste. What are the vegetables that have been blanched and what are raw? In this, I've blanched the carrots and the beans, and I've used some peas also in it, which are boiled. I've used frozen ones, so you don't need to boil them. This is raw, the capsicums are raw and the mushrooms are raw. These two are blanched. First of all, a little oil goes in. A tablespoon of chopped garlic. And some ginger julienne. If you cut the juliennes in advance, it's a good idea to put them in water so that they don't shrink. I have put them in the water in the morning, and I just removed when I was laying the table. It's about half an hour back. और पानी से निकाल दिए. Okay. Now I'm adding these spices, haldi, red chilli powder, and now goes in the curry paste. Okay, this looks like it's done. अभी ये थोड़ी सी सब्जियों के साथ भी और भून जाएगी. So now I add my mushrooms to it. And I saute my mushrooms for a while. In goes the red and yellow peppers. So all the raw vegetables I am adding. Now this is also done. Now we'll add the blanched vegetables. The peas are also blanched, kind of cooked, boiled peas, frozen peas, and the beans and the carrots. I hope you remember the triangle cutting of the carrots. That looks very pretty. We won't be adding the tofu, the pan-fried tofu just now. So let's mix this up nicely. And now we add 1.5 cups of coconut milk. And cover this for a while. Now this is done, and all we need to do is to add some. We need some tofu, and I'm going to switch this off now. And a little lemon juice, and let me just taste the final thing with the lemon juice. See how it is not gaada नहीं, बहुत पतला नहीं है. It's a little masala. नमक वगैरह देख लेते हैं, बाद में कुछ नहीं हो सकता. नमक ठीक है. It will take a pinch of sugar. ये तो ये गुड़ पड़ा है यहाँ पर, गुड़. You can just add a little. ये गुड़ नहीं है. I'm just adding a little jaggery powder or a little sugar, whatever you have on hand. It depends on how sweet your coconut milk is actually. If the coconut milk is very sweet, then you don't need to add. But if the coconut milk is not very sweet, then a pinch of sugar works well. Okay. Now let's start assembling. Just leave a little. My gas is off. Let me do it here. Now what are the other things that I am going to use for assembling? I have some fried cashews. You can take fried almonds as well. Some fried onions. When you fry these onions, fry them on medium heat so that you don't burn them, and cut them as finely as you can. Medium heat पे fine onions, fried till golden. Just a shade before this, remove them from fire. If you remove them at this shade, they become darker later. So just a little before the actual shade that you want, because with the heat they keep drying up. Some coriander leaves, the way we put mint leaves, I have put them in water so they are nice and fresh. Removed them from water about an hour back, but they were in water for about 2-3 hours. Cold water. Okay. In your kadhai or in your pan in which you have made your curry, I put 1/3 of the rice. And on the rice, I put some fried onions, put some coriander leaves, then I put some cashews, then I put some vegetables along with the tofu in it. देखो इसका जो रस्सा है वो कैसा है, गाढ़ा गाढ़ा है. If it's very ढीला, it will make your rice soggy. But if there's no rassa, then your rice will dry up. So both things are important. Again, put half of this rice. The vegetables. Oh, see, you could put the onions also on the rice. I forgot. And then the vegetables. Just a little more rice on top. Like, I don't want, I have a little gravy left, I am not putting to make it too wet. And finally, I am going to put some cashews on top. ऊपर ज़्यादा gravy की ज़रूरत नहीं. Some fried onions, some coriander. Coriander dipped in water, remember. It looks nice and fresh. This should be enough. Let's not overdo anything. And to finish it, we put some dots of butter on it. And what do? We take a pan. How to give dum to it? We take a pan, put it on fire, let it get very hot, cover this with foil. You can cover it with lid also, but it's a good idea to cover it with foil first. And then cover it with lid like this. And put it on the hot tawa like this, and reduce the heat to really low. Why do we put the tawa? To reduce the heat further. It becomes really slow. And leave it for about 30 minutes or 20 minutes depending on your heat and your tawa. Put a heavy tawa. And secondly, whenever you are assembling your biryani, always see that you have some gravy at the base, otherwise your last bit of rice turns very chewy and hard. So have a little gravy at the base and then start layering. Now this is done. How do we do it in this handi? In this handi, you should have something which is earthenware, which is heat proof. And I'm going to switch this off and I'm going to just transfer this in the handi so that you can see how it looks. बड़ा चम्मच चलो तो फिर दिस only ऐसे ही इसमें लेयर कर देना. My oven is on at 120 degrees. I had heated some water here while I was assembling the biryani. Put some fried onions and all on top. After you layer it, you can layer it the same way. Put a foil on top. Put some hot water in this. Now why do we put hot water? In the oven, if the biryani stays in the oven without this water bath, the biryani gets very dry. This way the biryani remains very moist. The water is hot, but I can still, you shouldn't be able to touch it. But it should be boiling because something becomes difficult. So all you have to do is just put it in the oven like this and just keep it for about 30 minutes. So for this we have some malt vinegar going in, a little bit of oil going in. We have some ginger garlic paste going in. We have a little maida, 1 tablespoon, but I'm going to add half first and see how much I need. Okay. Then I'm going to add some Nita Mehta Kashmiri Mirch powder and a little salt, of course, and Nita Mehta Paneer Masala. I'm doing a paneer dish, so I can't forget Nita Mehta Paneer Masala in it. So Nita Mehta Paneer Masala goes in. Okay, and I told you a little jaggery, so a little jaggery also. Just see that your paneer doesn't have moisture. If it has too much moisture, put it on the whole block before you cut it on the pan for 2 minutes for it to dry. फिर भी मैं उठा के डाल रही हूँ. अगर नीचे थोड़ा सा पानी होगा तो वो नहीं आएगा. See, there is a little water. If I had just added like this, I would have added all this water. You should add this. If I had added all this water, then I would have needed all the maida also. So let me see if I need the maida. It's coating well. I don't think I need the maida, but if you do feel it's very watery, a little more maida can go. Okay, now all you have to do is take a rack, grease it nicely with oil. I've already greased it, but I'm just showing it to you. You know, when I grease it like this, I actually do this, then I do this, and then I put my fingers in it. Otherwise the paneer sticks. So grease it very nicely, which I've already done. Now this is done. A block of paneer has been cut into 8 pieces. Each piece is about 1.5 to 1 inch depending on whatever size you like. I didn't taste the marinade. It's a good idea to taste it also to see if the salt and all is all right. This is done. This goes into the oven. I've purposely heated at a very high temperature so that it gets done fast. And you can put it on a high rack. Start the bado. Now, what else do we need for this dish? We need a little kachumbar. So I have some de-seeded tomatoes. Remember to de-seed them, cut them into 4, remove the pulp, some chopped onion and some lettuce. If you don't have lettuce, just chop some kheera, that will also do. Again, malt vinegar and jaggery. Here, malt vinegar and a little jaggery. गुड़ दे दो. ये है इसमें गुड़ रखा है मैंने, ठीक है. ये थोड़ा सा गुड़ है इसके अंदर रखा हुआ है. It just clumped together because of the humidity, I guess. A little bit of red chilli powder, a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Just mix everything together to make your kachumbar. Let me just taste this. Fine, the malt vinegar and the jaggery will give it a nice taste. Okay. So to serve it, you can cut a lemon into slices like this. You could either take wedges or take slices like this if you like. And first what we do is we just put some kachumbar here. And then we have our paneer slices. अब निकाल लेती हूँ मैं उसको, कोई बात नहीं, जितने भी हुए हैं. But do it for about 15 minutes so that it gets a little charred look on top. So let's see how it's looking now. Kind of done. Almost done. I have put the heat high, so it's almost done. See, this is almost done. If I touch, the filling is not, when you're doing something in the oven, touch the filling to see. It should not stick to your hand. That means it's done. So let's just do the plating. Faster this way. It's hot. So this is also done. And now all we have to do is put a little chopped masala on them also. And how can we forget the salvi and the lemon slices? So let's put some lemon slices here. And if you like, you can just put some lettuce leaf here with more kachumbar on it. If anybody wants extra. And some, I think this is not looking nice. I'm not remove this. There should be some empty space also. बहुत भरा भरा भी नहीं अच्छा लगता. And then in goes the salvi. And a little salvi on the paneer pieces also. So our paneer salvi boti is ready to go. Close up. तो अगर ये आप पहले बनाकर पनीर रख देते तो थोड़ा सा इन्हें मक्खन डालकर पैन पे थोड़ा सा गरम करके और फिर आप सर्व करें. और जब रखा हो तो ढककर रखें so that it doesn't turn hard.